American Cup champions. Celtic way, wait for the ball from side to side, and until they try to hide, the way for the ball from front to back, attack, 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 67, and then he's a burst.
Hello and welcome to episode 115 of Celtic Rumours TV, the Bawz and Bovril podcast with your host Mark and myself Paul. Join us tonight. We're hoping to have Terence, Ter61, from the phone page of the podcast, www.celticrumours.co.uk. You can also check out all the links in the podcast in the description below. On tonight's show, we'll have match reaction analysis from today's 4-1 victory over St Johnstone at McDormand Park Stadium. Is this Ange's best starting 11 that started the match against St Mirren? We're going to have a look ahead to the Scottish Cup 5th round against St Mirren on Saturday the 11th at Celtic Park. And of course, any guys you want discussed in the live chat, please let us know. Or if you wish to join us, please let Mark know and he'll put a link up in the live chat. Firstly, I'll hand off to Mark for a few shout-outs.
Thanks very much, Paul. A few shout-outs to the lads on the forum. Tim Alloy, Alec listens to us in his lorry treks. We shout out to Welshie as well. Welshie lost a pal yesterday or Friday. He lost a good pal in a bit of sad circumstances. So we're all thinking about you, Welshie, bud. Richie and his family, I hope Richie's keeping well as well. Mikey, he'll be a daddy 6 weeks' time or something like that, Mikey. I think his wife's due, so it's getting closer for that.
Of course, we're going to be live for the birth.
Aye, probably like Del Boy and Uncle Albert outside the podcast.
The Omen song coming over us.
Bobby, nice to see you back, Bobby, mate. Nice to see you. But I'll give you a wee message on the Discord later on, bud. Jabba, as always, nice to see you. And Brian's a good man as well. Good to see you again, Brian, bud.
Mm-hmm. So St Johnstone 1, Celtic 4 was the final score at the McDormand Park Stadium in Perth today. Goals from Constantine with an OG who later got sent off in the 91st minute. Kyogo, Moy, Turnbull. The stats for the game were shots 6 to Celtics, 12 on target, 2 to Celtics 4. Passes 271 to Celtics 702. Accuracy 67 to Celtics 85. Fouls 5-11, yellow cards 1 to Celtic 2, and of course 1 red card. I was just looking at the stats there. Like, if Celtic have 85,
what jumps out at you, Paul?
To 85% possession mark, and we have 11 fouls.
Aye, is it 85? That one up. We get 71%. Aye, but that's what.
That's accuracy. Sorry, 71% mark. Yeah.
Aye, but that's what jumps out you right away. Do you know what
how is that like?
As I've said, Paul, it seems to be, oh, you away, Jabber, no bother, bud, if you're away, mate. See, I'll speak to you later on. Paul, it's as I say, it's like, it was one, what was it? I mean, the first Italian scandal with Juventus and stuff like that. That was one of the ways that they kind of fixed the matches. And this seems to be a kind of thing. It stops Celtic playing. It stops for rhythm. If you're getting the ball and it's all these wee niggly fouls that they're getting against us, it stops Celtic getting any rhythm into their game. And that's the only thing I can think of, because, Paul, we sit here and moan about how we could do a bit more physicality in that in the team. So, but I mean, we're not a dirty team. We're not that type of team. We've not got the type of players. And when you look at the St Johnstone only committed 5 fouls. Do you know what I mean? It's just it doesn't make sense to me at all how it does that. There's something not right about that.
One thing that pointed out to me was the Yata booking. One, Yachter's not known for his tackling, Mark.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And that booking he got, like he got it for called it referee. It was persistent fouling. It was his fourth foul in the match. But if you look at the thing, like the player was going down and Yachter jumped over him.
Aye,
Do you know what I mean?
it's silly fouls and exactly what you're saying, Paul. It's fouls that you're like, that's just not really a foul. That's just a kind of tussle or a wee push, or a wee tug when they're chasing the ball down or running and things like that. But in future, Paul, just watch the actual stupid fouls that we get gave against us.
Mm-hmm. No, it's ridiculous. That's the one thing now.
It's been a common thing over the last few weeks, Paul. I've noticed it as well. No, I mean, it just steer the new bit, it just spouts right out at you.
Mm-hmm. You know, like it doesn't make sense, like with the amount of possession. Like,
No,
I mean, if we have the ball, you think it'd be the other way around. St Johnstone would have 11 fouls. Celtic might have the old. But I can't remember Celtic Mark making fouls in that game. And do you know what I mean? And then you're looking at 11 fouls in that game. You know what I mean? It's
nobody get booked or anything on us. Did any Celtic put apart from
Yachter.
Aye, but there was nobody else, was there?
I don't know. I have 2 bookings down. You know, 2 seconds down now. They come up. Yachter was 1, anyway, I know that. You know. But just while I'm looking up this, Mark, Aaron Moy again today, Mark, was just cheating.
Aye.
He's just getting better and better, Mark. You know,
he played really well again today. As I said, I questioned the signing him, but if he came back for that World Cup, he's definitely took it up a level for us. He really is. I'm delighted for him. I know right enough after. Well, I never really gave him grief. I just didn't think I thought it was a really strange sign. I didn't see what he would bring to the team, but he's rammed that right down my throat the last couple of weeks in that if he came back, as I said. But I can't give him a high enough kind of rating. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of enough praise what he's doing for what I wouldn't know what Moniesta, Bobby's saying, but he seems to be just he's playing it consistently, Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, was that 4 goals in 4 games he scored today?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? That's cracking for him for a player that we wouldn't. He's not the type of player that we'd be looking at for goals for the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? He's doing the kind of job that McGregor done when he was younger, when he had goals in his game, kind of thing. But the way he is, he's holding the full everything. He's holding the full Ange Ball system together. Really well.
Came in realistically, Mark. I think the plan for Moy was he came in for. He came in for McGregor. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
No, he's the one in that favoured role. Do you know what I mean? And like, he's keeping one of our top players out of the starting lineup, Mark, in O'Reilly.
Aye, but O'Reilly's, to be fair, O'Reilly's not been playing anywhere near as good as he should be for us.
But Mark, you look at it too. Like, is O'Reilly not used to having a bit of competition on his back for the place, and maybe he's because there was no one there last season really to take that position off O'Reilly, was there?
No, I don't think. I just think he's just having a bit of a lulling for him, Paul.
Because you look at, like, the main thing for O'Reilly, for me, Mark, is is his lack of goals, but he is still getting these killer passes, like, you know what I mean? O'Reilly's still, like, he's the most assists without goals.
I know, aye.
You know?
It's been a weird one for him, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. You know, they said it like was it the last game? They said O'Reilly he has one of the most assists and the most shots at goal without a goal in the Celtic team. You know what I mean? So, like,
there'll be Celtic forever. And nice to see you, mate. Thanks for joining us, bud.
You know, but Mark, that goal though, that my goal was dirty. That was a dirty goal. That's a contender. Not just the goal, but the play.
The setup, the build-up play. Aye.
You know, really was. Like, I thought that again, Mark, like there's 2 different halves to this Celtic team at the moment. When we're comfortable, we kind of slip. We are not saying we slip off, but we bring down our tempo but we still controlled the game. Do you get me?
Aye, we seem to be taking our foot off the gas, Paul.
Yeah.
I thought I said on the live chat and that earlier. I thought second half was a. You can tell how well Celtic's playing, Paul, with the way the live chat goes. Do you know what I mean? See when we all start talking about like what you're having for dinner, what Kev's making the day and stuff like that, and things about what we should be doing and stuff like that. So you could tell with the kind of the zip had went out it for the second half. But I suppose the job was done.
But I want
Do you know
to know
what I
what,
mean?
though, Mark.
Aye.
Celtic
Thanks for
fan,
that,
I
Bob.
want them to
Thanks
tear a
for
team
Bobby.
apart, you know?
Just to give that a shout out. Thanks for that, Bobby. If you can, anybody that's not subscribed to Be Celtic Forever, please go and do that. But videos are cracking, they really are. Aye, Paul, I'm the same as you. I was expecting. I said I was hoping for. Well, I said I was looking for 4-0, and we got that. But it was one of the games again, Paul. It should have been more. And so it seems to be the kind of the battle cry, you know. Do you know what I mean? We should be scoring more goals. Even again back. Well, I can't really mean the Kyogo missing many right sitters today. Can you?
No, he seemed to be in the right positions, Mark. He was unlucky there with that goal, that shot and goal there that kind of deflected off the defender because that was in.
Aye.
There was a cross there and he got to the end of it. Like that was in, like, you know what I mean? But look, Kyogo, Mark, seems to be getting into positions now that we want him to get into. You know,
it's never been the problem of getting into positions, Paul. I just want him to be more clinical, more deadly in front of a goal. I mean, there's no doubt that he's a class player. I still just don't see him as an out-and-out striker.
There's one thing I want to come into there, Mark. Celtic Forever there. St Johnstone goal was never checked. Well, I was listening to the Celtic match
Mikey.
today.
Right, evening, Mikey.
Listening to the Celtic match today, Mark. I was watching on the Pulse app because it was live, and that's why I said I'm watching that. And they laughed at Celtic's use of VAR on the Polish sports channel today. They laughed at that. Everything was checked, Mark. There was one stage when Celtic were taking a throw-in and the referee stopped the game that VAR were checking something.
Aye, that was crazy.
And they were like, while they're checking, what happened? While they're checking. Do you know what I mean? They was basically saying, Mark, what we were saying, do they not know how to use VAR? Like, this is another country laughing at Celtic's use of VAR. Scottish FA's use, not Celtic, Scottish FA's use of VAR.
But that's the thing. But that's what Mikey's saying there. It only seems to be on Celtic games. Do you know what I mean? I mean, even if you watch another live SPL game, I've watched the roundup. Obviously, they're not going to show you VAR checks if they're not kind of controversial, but they just seem to be every single goal that Celtic score seems to be scrutinised, and they're actually looking for a reason to. It's not as if there's something suspicious. They're actually just saying, right, wait then, we'll just go and look and see if there is anything that we can disallow that for. I mean, that one the day they were checking for that, they said, we were checking it for offside. There was no way in the world the guy was offside.
Yeah. I like what Zeus said, Mark. Is this another tactic that I'm just saying that it's slowing down the tempo of Celtic? Like, that it's taking too long. Like, why is VAR getting involved in these like decisions? Like, I mean, if it's a clear and open goal, Mark, and if the linesman doesn't see anything, VAR shouldn't be involved. Do you know what I mean? You know, like, I don't see Southchuck checking every single goal. Do you know what I mean?
And I keep going back to it as well. We went with this kind of cheap version of it, but I don't know why VAR checks for offsides now if we use that Hawkeye system. Is that no? I thought that, I might be wrong. Somebody in the chat might know that, but I thought Hawkeye was a part of the Scottish game. So VAR shouldn't be looking for offsides if we've got that Hawkeye, I don't think.
But is that not in play though yet, Mark? I don't think, is it?
I thought it was.
No, I don't.
And if it's no again, then Paul, that's just another pure embarrassment of the way Scottish football's ran. The best thing we can do is just see if this is what VAR's going to be like going forward. Best thing to do is just scrap it.
That's my next question, Mark. But is that not maybe what the referees want? Making all these stupid decisions, making these kind of rules as they go along. Do the refs themselves maybe want to get rid of VAR, Mark, because it's kind of question their authority in the game. Like, is this area of referees and VAR untouchable? Do you get me? You know,
But
that's what it seems to be.
But that's the thing, Paul, that it's like the referee's no refereeing the game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because of VAR, you might be right. Maybe the referees don't like it because it is scrutinising what they're doing. And it's going to get even worse if they bring in that thing that they're bringing in for the World Club Championship, Paul, where what Terence keeps going on about the stadium and the people sitting at home and all that, hear what the referee and the VAR people and that's talking about. The Scottish referees are not going to like that whatsoever. Evening, Peter, nice to see you again, mate.
That's only going to put more pressure on referees to, for me, like it should have been done anyway. Do you know what I mean? That they should be made explain their decision why something is disallowed.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? You know,
well, I've said it before as
how
well.
How can they disagree with these handballs they're giving against Celtic now, especially that one against Hearts? Do you know what I mean?
And then you see the ones that Goldson gets away with week in and week out.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no kind of equality involved in it. Do you know what I mean? Because if VAR's checking something at Celtic Park and saying, right, that's not a penalty to Celtic, and then they're looking at something like at Ibrox and the Foley game or that, and it's something like a Goldson handball, and they're just, no, that's not a penalty. You're saying, well, how can that, do you know what I mean? How can that not be a penalty? And how can that not be a penalty when they're basically pure blatant penalties? Like that Hearts one you're talking about. I'll always bring that up, Paul. And that was that not in the very first game that VAR was in Scotland?
The Hearts yes.
Aye. Do you know what I mean? I'll always, as long as we ever talk about VAR, I'll always get back to that, because that shouldn't even have needed a VAR check, in my opinion. And for VAR to miss that just shows you right away what a shambles it was going to be. And we've been proven right.
Kind of set the tone, Mark, that, didn't we?
Absolute shambles.
We kind of knew from that decision what way VAR was going to go in the SPL against Celtic. You know, when it was clear as day. Do you know what I mean? And you don't want to be talking about VAR, Mark, but
no, but you need. But the thing, we need to. That's the thing I've said.
But that's the problem, Mark. When I hear a different country laughing at the Scottish FA, and there we are. Like we were sitting here last week with
and that's our league, Paul. That's our league. That Polish league's a league that Scottish fans and that would look down their nose on.
Exactly, Mark.
Exactly. And they're laughing at the way we're running VAR.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there we are, Mark, saying that it was a joke that Sky didn't show Rangers and Hearts game there during the week, you know, because it was a big game, Mark. Rangers and Hearts is always a big game, like, you know what I mean? And they didn't show it, like, but do you know what I mean? Thank God they're not showing these matches, Mark, that we're not getting it brought, because when games are being shown, the Scottish football is being laughed at the way it's being controlled by referees and VAR. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. I keep saying it as well, Paul. See, if Rangers have got problems with VAR, that's up to them. Right? If Celtic have got problems with VAR, that's up to them. Aberdeen, Jonas's, Dundee United, these teams, every team's got problems with VAR. So everything in Scotland, Paul, gets brought down between it's Celtic v the SFA or Celtic v Rangers, because that's how they kind of keep it to the split, Paul. See if every club just go together. I mean, think about it as, Paul. The SPFL is made up of the clubs. Let's know that. I mean, that's who the SPFL is. So why, if all the clubs aren't happy about this, they need to try and get together and get something sorted out so that everybody's happy. I'm not wanting Celtic to get favourable decisions. We played this last week. I think it was it Welshie that was on saying it. I'm not wanting Celtic to get favourable decisions or Rangers to get unfavourable decisions. I just want there to be the same rules applied across the board for every team, no matter whether you're playing at Ibrox against Rangers or playing against Ross County at Celtic Park or whatever. The rules for across the board should be the exact same for everybody, and that's where the kind of arguing comes into it. Do you know what I mean? It becomes like Celtic v Rangers, because Rangers are happy with some of their decisions, but they're not happy with other ones. Celtic are happy with some of theirs, but not happy with other ones. But it's the unhappy ones we've all got to get together about and fight against.
Like, exactly what Peter Orr is saying here. Like, it's not VAR's the problem, Mark. VAR works.
Aye.
It's the referees. Like, that's what they were saying. Things in on the Pulsar today, like, is why are they checking every single decision? Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
They actually didn't know what they were checking, Mark, when Celtic were taking that throwing. They actually looking commentary between them while they're checking. They said, "What are they checking now?" Do you know what I mean? You
But I
know,
mean, is it? I've said this when we started the podcast, Paul. Is it incompetence or as Peter says, shitty refs is the problem, or is it something a bit more sinister? Because that's one thing I've said that to you before. See if VAR has come in, I've started to think, is there something a bit more sinister going on? I used to put it down to they're just the referees. It's just incompetent. They're just no good at their jobs. I've
I
said
don't
that
know,
to you.
Mark. I'm trying to, like, I speak kind of same board as you, but I'm looking at it now, like, and
Aye,
do you
you're
know what I
seeing
mean?
it.
If they didn't check the St Johnstone's goal today, Mark, and they checked every single Celtic goal, I mean, it wasn't just today. It was last
No,
week as
it's
well, and it seems to be every
aye.
game, Mark. They're looking like, so. It is like, I mean, did Celtic actually question the referees, Mark, that we don't know about to
But
the SPL,
it's meant
and
to.
maybe that's why they're getting pissed off or something like that.
I'm sure. I think it was Phil Mack put a blog and said that he'd been told that Celtics had meetings with him and asked questions and stuff like that.
You know what I mean? Did
About
that maybe
about
piss them off,
about
so, Mark?
just while they're talking about Alistair Johnson there up on the screen. There's his da. Back.
You know, is that maybe?
That might be. I mean, Rangers do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they come out and talk against referees and nothing ever happens about it. But if any other manager comes out and says anything against a referee, the next thing they're getting banned and touchline bans and censored and stuff like that, and it's not right.
Because my impression, Mark, with looking from, like, I don't be at the matches, like, I don't know much information that you know about the refs over there, but looking from the outside, Mark, I'm getting this impression that the referees in Scotland at the moment think they're above everyone, and you can't question them. And if you question them, I don't know, maybe they'll punish you. Do you think maybe that's happening?
I don't know. See, I can mind a few years back a right few years, but maybe when the English Premier League actually like totally peaked in that a lot of the referees seemed to like think that they were the star attraction.
Mm-hmm.
See the way they stood and pranced about the park and everything was all pure. Their movements were all exaggerated to try and make themselves like. And referees did become personalities, and they all do that after dinner speaking and that all came from that like all that kind of. They kind of look at me referees. We even had them in Scotland years ago, but the new I think it's just the referee. I think the referee. What you were saying earlier, I'm not saying the refs are thinking we want rid of her, but see the ref on the park. I think they're scared to make a decision themselves, Paul, in case it gets highlighted that they've totally made a complete blunder. Because and VAR just backs up whatever decision the ref makes. VAR just backs it up for them. We check VAR.
But because, do you know what I've never seen, Mark? I've seen it a lot down the south, like, and I've seen it a lot in other football leagues, Mark, is VAR would override the referee. Do you know what I mean? You got that wrong. You need to come over and have a look, vice versa. Do you get me?
But that seems to be what happens here. It's all right. But that's, see if it's a VAR call, Paul. In my opinion, it's right away. If there's a VAR decision,
the ref needs to go up to the monitor, not talking on the camera. Because that's the problem, Mark. It's VAR, as you said, it's VAR making the decisions in Scotland, not the referee anymore. And we have proof of that by beating Mark in the game against the Huns. Not against the Huns. I forget what game is it, Mark? When he said it's not my decision.
I can't even what game it was, Paul.
You know, and you could see clear as day what he was saying. No,
it should be. If there's a VAR, we keep saying this. You know what I mean? If there's a VAR check, right away, the ref should be looking at the monitor and talking to them right away. No them sitting in their wee van or whatever for like 2 minutes and then deciding that the ref needs to come here and have a look at it. If there's something dodgy, the three of them should be discussing that right away, and maybe that would cut out a lot of the kind of maybe the silly ones they're calling because it's kind of the ref needs to go there all the time. I don't know, but something needs to be done about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to end up ruining the game and that. Do you know what I mean?
There was one point I wanted to come back there to Michael. He said the only problem I've got with Celtic just now is they only seem to be playing for one half. It's great because we are humping teams, but we won't get away with that every game. And he's right, Mark. You know what I mean?
That's what we said earlier. The first half of the day, I thought we were great, and then the second half was just a bit. We were still in control of the game, but as you said, Paul, you wanted to see them go out and punish them, but they didn't do that, and they've not been doing that for quite a while. What Mikey's saying, I agree with that. I really do.
We're capable of. Like we were capable today, Mark, of thumping St Johnstone like we thumped Dundee United at the start of the season 9-0.
Aye.
We were well capable of that today. If no, I said it in the live chat as well today, Mark. Like people were saying, Yota seemed to be off form, Abada seemed to be off form when he came on. But then I was looking at the game, Mark. It wasn't the players really. I think it's the pitches. The quality of the pitches of the bad weather in Scotland in January, Mark, has really, really affected Celtic's play because there was passes there, Mark. 99%.
Look at state of your pitch.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying. I said across the SBL, including Celtics, Mark. 99% of the time, Mark, those passes were going to a Celtic player, but the ball kind of bobbled by the time it got, and do you know what I mean? It kind of took
it's no
running, different direction. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's not running as smooth as it should be. It might be.
I haven't seen one decent pitch in Scotland, Mark, since the turn of the year. You know, and I'm looking like, why? Like, you know what I mean? You look at pitches down south, Mark, they had relatively the same weather as you, did they?
Aye.
And all their pitches in good condition. I know now money-wise, Mark, is different, like, but I mean, you're not even like we had, Mark, nearly 6 weeks of no football on pitches. Do you get me? And every pitch in Scotland is just in bad shape.
And see the thing about it, the weather really hasn't been that bad. I don't know how it is at other parts of Scotland. I know Mikey gets wild weather because he's out in the countryside and that, but see, like in like Hamilton, Glasgow and that, Paul, the actual weather's not been that bad. We've not even really had much frost, like heavy frost. We usually get heavy frost in that.
I'm on about bubbles, like, you know what I mean, like.
But if the pitch is
holes in the pitch or something like that, if that's what the pitch looked like today, like, do you know what I mean?
But if the pitch is fucking been soaked, Paul, that's one of the things we have had. We've had a hell of a lot of rain over the last couple of months.
Well, I suppose Morales was probably paying it there the last couple of weeks. There was said against St Johnstone, he probably sunk into it. I say with the waste of it. That's.
But if the pitch is getting pelted with rain as much as like we've been having, and I think it's the rain that's making it in the pitch. The groundsman can do what they want, and it looks all right at the start of the game. But as soon as people start running on it and sliding and stuff like that, it just breaks up, Paul, and becomes just a.
But should they not, like? Do you remember in the 80s, Mark, before they had all these fucking flash, fucking LED lights that they put over them, like they used to cover the pitches? Do you remember that before? They used to cover the pitches. Like, should the teams in Scotland maybe looking to do that and pump air again underneath it? You know?
Oh, I don't know.
You know, because
rank kind of grass we're talking about, Paul. You want my knowledge on it, bud.
You know. But no, that pitch.
But today, I've seen we were talking about that on the live chat. I did actually go and have a wee gander again about that desk on that, and they're still one of the best pitches. I just can't get my head around why Celtic Park so the pitch is just so bad.
There's not even grass. At least there was grass. It wasn't so much as a problem with grass in St Johnstone's pitch there. It was more bobbles. Do you get me? But that's over, as you said, like the pitch being soft. But
all cutting up, so it's hitting bits of mud and stuff like that.
But in Celtic's pitch, Mark, we actually just have no grass. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's. I don't know. Is it to change of weather, Mark? I don't know. I really don't.
Something that Celtic need to look at it in the summer. You need to go by it now, but come the summer.
Well, I think so, Mark, because January said it's a big problem for the way he wants to play. Is the pitch? You know what I mean? He came up
even if it wasn't that, Paul, even if our manager fucking just wanted to play long ball, hoof ball, Celtic Park should still be the best surface in the country. Yeah,
but Mark, what about the 26th there? Hampden Park. Like we saw the state of Hampden Park. Like that should. There's been no games in that now for nearly a month till Celtic play, and I'm really hoping that that pitch will be in good condition by the time that final comes round. Is there an international break coming up?
No, is it no after that, Paul?
Is that after that, is it? Yeah,
I think it might be after it.
But there should be no excuse. So, Mark, really, why Hampden Park shouldn't be, you know what I mean? You know,
Hampden, well, this will be, see, that, February's maybe the worst month in Scotland, Paul, weather-wise. But Hampden Park's just, Hampden, that's a dump, Paul, for the pitch to the, I said that to you, they're just, I don't know, I don't expect the pitch to be any better. I really don't.
Well,
the only thing will be, Paul, is, again, if you mind that day, the semi-final, it was stoating for the heavens.
Yeah, well, you would expect the pitch to be
bad.
Because
I said to be Stephen that in the motor on the way home, if that rain keeps going up, like coming down like this, they'll try and get their game code off the motor because of the state of the pitch, and if the rain just kept lashing down all night, but it went off no that long after. Probably the minute I walked in the front door, the rain went off.
Well, I don't know if it's just me, and I'm not a big fan anyway, Mark, of having semi-finals at Hampden anyway. But the final should be.
But there may be else really we can get. There may be else really in Scotland. The only thing you could do there, Paul, to make it fair is like we go to Ibrox, and if they're in the semi-final, exactly. You know, I mean, there's no point.
It's different down south, Mark, isn't it?
They've got big stadiums or the country kind of thing.
It's
they don't even need to. They don't even need to have that kind of. Because I would just end up with places would end up getting trashed before he's our Twitter. Look what they done to our toilets. Look what they done to our toilets. Look what they wrote in the wall. Look what they wrote in the wall. If we're doing in England, and obviously they don't send Man United to Anfield to play in a cup game. Do you know what I mean?
That kind of thing. You probably get a scarf said, "Welcome Chelsea to the Emirates." Do you know
half and half,
half and half, yeah. You know, that's what you probably get down there, like, you know what I mean? You know, but look, just going what Mike was saying, Mark, that we do slip off, but we were still comfortable. But what I said to start with, I want the Celtic just to continue this tempo. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's like Ange says we never stop. But they would just slow down a bit then. Do you know what I mean? That's what they kind of into it.
Is it not Ange so, Mark? Like, do you remember like when we kind of there last season, Mark, when we were kind of slow getting into games, and I was saying like, but I don't think this is Ange sending his Celtic team out to play slow football against teams sitting back. Do you get me? You know that it seems to be the players that.
But then it's up to Ange then to put in the. And do you know Ange? You never really see Ange shouting on the touchline on that much, didn't you know?
No. It's his kind of manager, Mark. Is they know their jobs.
But you'd maybe like to see him pull out in the touchline, saying like kind of geeing them up, saying, "Come on, get your finger out, get this moved about a bit quicker and stuff like that."
The only time really, Mark, I hear Ange giving out really few times is if the ball was passed back. That's the only time I heard Ange give it out. If the ball was passed back.
You heard him on a mic. Was that in a pre-season friendly team? And he was on a mic roaring at somebody because he passed it back.
We passed it. Was it Christie, Mark, that time, I think, was it? Oh, remember Christie did the long. Remember there was the time, Mark, as well, when Christie tried to do the long pass across the field. Do you remember that? And he blew it out to play. And Ange screamed at him like, "We don't play like that anymore." You know what I mean? Why are you putting a pass like that for? That's the only kind of time I really remember Ange. But Mark, maybe he keeps it off for the dressing room at half time. You know what I mean? But you said, Mark, I want the manager too to be, if we're slacking off a bit there, like what Mikey is saying, your manager then should be encouraging the team to up the tempo, you know?
It was like, it's even a day, Paul, it's like, why wait so long for subs as well? The game's won, the game's in the bag, right? The team, right, we're saying that the team was slowing down, they weren't playing as fast and that as we wanted them to. So why not make substitutions earlier and give guys like a bit more time on the pitch to maybe get a goal, try and actually do something and give them more game time on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? When the game's done and dusted, I thought he could have brought in the substitutions before the usual 60-minute mark.
Exactly, Mark. Yes, I agree, Joe.
See all that, by the way, Bobby. I don't believe all that for a minute. All that, he doesn't get into the dressing room before games, and he doesn't get into the Lennoxtown changing rooms and stuff like that. I don't believe that for a minute.
No.
Nah, no chance. Who manager that doesn't get in the dressing room before a game?
It's true too. I didn't know he said it before game. I knew the kind of thing about Lennox, but did he say it before game as well? Did he?
I'm just going with what Bobby's saying there, but I wouldn't even the one with Lennoxtown.
You know, because you're going to have to give out your right.
But saying like even at that, the Lennoxtown one, that's fair dues because it's just a changing room before you. It's like getting into work and putting on your overalls.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't he let the kind of training and remark to the coaches, but he's there. But he lets it to kind of John Kennedy, Strachan and
he's still there.
Like, yeah.
He's out there. Well, no, all the time, but most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the Lennoxtown one, Bobby, as I said, it's just like me getting into work and getting to put my overalls on before I get out to start a shift or that. But there's no way you doesn't get into the changing room before games at Celtic Park and that.
Unless you're Neil Lennon back and you're staying in the showers hoping for a job interview.
Aye.
You know, that was all.
How did Aberdeen go on this weekend? Who beat them?
But he didn't take him over at all. It was Bobby Robson, wasn't it? That's.
Did Neil Lennon no go to Aberdeen?
No, it was Bobby.
That was you. You're an arse.
Yeah, it fell through at last minute. They went with Bobby Robson in the end.
Bobby Robson.
Yeah, they went with him in the end. Yeah, so he's actually in Tormand, till the end of the season. You know,
I seen Dwight York or somebody come up with
3-1 mark. They beat Motherwell.
What did they? Well, that's a decent result for them.
Yeah,
I like Barry Robson. I hope he does well for them.
Was he not down south as well, Mark? With some team as first team coach as well for a while. I don't know who he was with.
Oh, I don't know, Paul, man.
But I know he was down as first team coach as well with some team and thing. I just get it up there, Second.
I hope he does well. He's a cracking player for us, so he was.
Sure, we were only talking about him last week, Mark. About he had a shot in him, like, didn't he, outside the box, didn't he?
Aye.
He scored some cracking goals for Celtic.
Aye.
And
again, it wasn't him and Zico, Hartley. It wasn't the most creative in midfields, but they've done a hell of a job for us. The two of them together, they really did.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. You never know, Mark. He could, if he keeps a run like this, beating Motherwell 3-1.
Been for a shout for the job.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? That result today wouldn't have done him no harm. Do you know what I mean? Considering the way they were playing, Mark, the last couple of weeks, getting hammered week in and week out.
Aye.
What went wrong there, Mark, do you think, with what's his name?
Goodwin.
Goodwin.
I think it was just his attitude, Goodwin's attitude. He's not meant to be a very nice person, you know what I mean? I've never really heard anybody saying anything good about him as a person, Paul, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, do you know what I mean? He might be a good coach in that, but as we know, look at Neil Lennon, there's a lot more to coaching than just being able to shout at people and stuff like that. But I think his man management, that leaves a bit of a lot to be desired.
Mm-hmm. Just moving on, Mark, there. So the starting 11 today, it was on Discord and it popped up the live chat, so that's why I kind of brought it on to the podcast tonight. Is that Ange's strongest starting 11 that started there today, or would you have changed anything there?
Right now, this minute, no. That for me, that's the best starting 11 right now, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the only change I would make, you know who I'm going to say,
O'Reilly.
If I really get back to playing the way he was playing for us, I'd swap him for. But it's a hard one because you can't drop Moy, because if Moy loses form and O'Reilly finds form, I'd swap the two.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest,
I think Mark Moy's playing the best football he has since he was with Hull City down in the Premier League those years ago. Do you mean Moy's, for me, looking at Moy now and watching him, Mark, when he was in the Premier League, it's like he's went back in years. Do you get me? You know?
Aye.
You know what I mean? Like
maybe even a wee renaissance period in that.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like he's the World Cup for him, Mark, and as Welchie said as well last week, him playing all these games in quick succession and training every day with the Australian, maybe in the heat as well, Mark, has done him the world of good.
Aye,
that World Cup.
Aye, I think it has, Paul, even down to like his fitness and his match sharpness.
Mm-hmm.
Without that World Cup, he'd maybe no be kind of at the level he is now. But I still think he would have got there, but it would have been maybe another couple of weeks or so. Do you know, just down to the training and, as you said, actually playing football and training, because he had hardly kicked a ball for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of, see, that World Cup, that was probably like a pre-season for him. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Exactly. Aye, that kind of got him up to his peak fitness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bobby's saying he would prefer Abada to Maeda. See, Abada for me is a wee bit off the game now as well, but I think.
No, I think, Mark, you can't take Mead out of that team because he's doing, Mark, what me and you discussed last season, what we expect Mead to do. And he's doing all that now.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? He's getting the ball in the box, Mark.
He started adding an end product.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Rather than just running about crazy, which he was doing for months in my opinion.
And there's another player too, Mark, so as well, like, so that benefit from the World Cup was Maeda. You know, and on the opposite side of that, a player who benefited from not going to the World Cup because of all it was Kyogo. You know,
well, here's one for you. What about Jota? But do you know think he's need to kind of stop on showboating as much and try and be a wee bit more direct? Me and Mike have spoken about this a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
It is for me, Mark. Do you know when all this kind of stuff came out there in the last couple of months, there at the start of the season, saying it was all over the papers and it was all over the internet saying Jota's too big for the SBL. Do you think maybe he got caught up in all that hype? You know that he's.
Well, he might have.
And
but
that's why he's showboating, Mark. Do you know what I mean, and stuff like that. You know.
I mean, I don't mind people showboating, Paul, if the game's done and dusted, or if you're showboating to beat a man. But a lot of showboating, it's like he'll showboat a bit, do 2 or 3 step overs, go to beat him, shimmy him a bit, and then turn his back and then pass the ball back 2 yards to somebody and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's always for me. Jota's need to get his head down and just be more direct. Rather than try and look for some fancy move. Just if you need to use a fancy move, use it, but don't just use it for the sake of it. Do you get what I mean? Get the ball into the box, get yourself round players and take shots and things like that, rather than just showboating every time you seem to get the ball.
Yeah, well, another thing too, Mark. It's not criticising my Jota, but Jota now most of the time now, Mark, would have 2-3 players on him because you have to give it to Mark. He's a class player.
Oh, aye, definitely.
He tried to take those 3 players on rather than giving the ball down the line to Taylor, who'd be free. Do you get me?
Aye.
You know, and that's what I don't like. Do you know what I mean? And one's fast-feeding football is Jota then doing that fast-feeding football when he's trying to take on 2 or 3 players. Do you know what I mean?
And then you think back, Paul, mind when we first signed you and I sent you that scouting report about him and it was talking about your decision making,
that's it, yeah.
And that still seems to, for me, be like a big problem in his game.
When there's a pass on, Mark, he tried to go just for his shot, maybe.
Aye, he'll try and beat a man and then You know that he can be right. He can maybe do a step over and go by, and you know that he's going to get by that man. But he kind of slows down and he goes back to beat the man again and stuff like that. Whereas that's all right if you want to show off when we're 4-5 up with 10 minutes to go. But knowing the bare arse end of a game when we're still trying to build up that lead, just a wee bit more directness. And I think apart from that, Paul, I've not got a complaint about him. I'm no bad mouthing. I'm just saying if he could just be that more direct, he'd be a lot more effective, in my opinion.
Two things from the live chat there. Just firstly, is Brian. I think deep down, Ange knew he made a mistake in the last Sheffield game, not starting Moy. I agree, because I think Moy, Mark, not only does he bring that experience, but he brings a kind of physicality, Mark, that into that Celtic team, because he won't take a hard tackle. Like, do you know what I mean? He won't. It seems to me, Mark, he's that type of player. He won't let someone push him around. Do you know what I mean?
But that's getting back to that game. But Paul, the questionable actual team selection, and then when we heard about a bug going through the team and the performances and stuff like that. I mean, James Forrest starting. Did James Forrest start that game since then?
No, he wouldn't have started that game, exactly, Mark.
No, things like that. So Brian, I've every confidence in beating them. Every single confidence. I'm more worried about going to places like Tynecastle and Easter Road than I'm playing them, to be honest with you.
And Bobby then says, I reckon Haksabanovic might end up being the next Stroppy one, but okay. But I agree, Mark. He's the one player I want to see.
I'm the same,
start
Paul.
The game.
I'm the same, but we're just trying to hope that Ange's just waiting to unleash him, what we call it. I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because we've seen enough of him to know. I mean, I don't know any Celtic fan that's no looking forward to seeing him getting a run in the team and seeing what he can do. So again, it's a strange one. Is it just he's not quite there yet? I don't know. I think
he seems to be caught. He seems to kind of
in limbo.
Fall into that player. Cashby, Mark, is when he does get a run of games, he's picking up these little injuries, something like tumble. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, maybe it's even that, Paul. He's just taking a wee bit longer to get used to like Angie's high intensity training and games and stuff like that. Because I mean, we know that when Ange came in, it was a hell of a shock to a lot of players' systems how high training in that was. You know what I mean? So these players coming in, because he's still quite a young guy, and he's not that old.
No.
So I'm looking forward to seeing him getting a run in the team.
I like him, Mark. To be honest, like I really do. Like
he's got a wee bit of dig about him in that as well.
He's what you're saying there about Yotta, Mark, you wanted to be more direct, and that's something that Haksabanovic does. He's direct. He run with the ball. Do you get me?
Aye.
You know, and then he create a cross, Denmark down the wings. Like, you mean, that's basically what you're saying. You want Yotta to do. Do you get me? And there we have a player then who would do it. You know.
That's what but I mean, really, that's what you want for your wingers, Paul. I mean, it's all right with all this fancy stuff and that. I mean, and I'm not comparing you to Ronaldo, but I mean, Ronaldo done all his tricks and flicks and stuff like that, but there was always an end product with that.
Do you know what
I mean? That was the thing about it.
Actually, with Ange, kind of lately, bar one or two changes to the starting lineup, we're kind of able to predict his starting lineup.
Aye.
You know, this seems to be Ange's. For me, Ange seems to favour, like what you were saying last week there when Welchie was on. You can predict any part really in the position, bar the wings.
Aye. But everybody fit and on form. Aye.
Yeah. But is Merida and Yotta maybe Ange's first choice there, Mark, between all the wingers? Merida and Yotta. Are they his favourite too? Do you get me?
Oh, I know what you. Aye. I thought. Well, would you disagree with him? But
no, I'm not. No.
And really, I mean, fair dues.
We're able to predict. No, he's that lineup, and I think that they're Ange's favourite two wingers at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. No, I see what you're saying, Paul. See if the two of them are fit. I think really, the only other one you could put into contention for me, the new, as I said, Haksabanovic isn't get much of a sniff in, but it would be a Bada. But it's right, so for me, it comes down to fitness and form and all the kind of number data crunching stuff. Who kind of will be starting? But it's always going to be the two wing positions that are more than likely get changed for me, Paul. It really is. Because I mean, let's face it, the defence that picks itself every week if you're off it.
Yeah, but you know, I noticed there as well today, Mark. Barnaby wasn't even on the subs bench today.
Was he? No.
No, it was only the only defender on the bench today was Kobayashi. You know, so because is he injured, Mark, or does Ange think he wants more attackers on the pitch rather than defenders? Can Kobayashi play multiple roles across the back line that we don't know about, Mark? Do you know what I mean? Because Ange seems to be signing players who can play these number of roles.
Aye. That seems to, seems to like that kind of player.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because I know was one thing I noticed now today, because he always seems to have players on, Mark, to cover different positions. Do you know? And he didn't have that today. But is Radisson still out injured? Is he fit? Is he still out?
I think he's still out, Paul. But I don't think he's that far away from.
But Mark,
being back.
Now, like I don't think you can drop Johnson at the moment.
No. Johnson's not getting dropped.
No, he has.
No, none of that defend. See, the four defenders are fit, Paul. That's who's playing for us every game. Taylor, Starfield, Carter Vickers, and Johnson. Moyes Johnson.
And I think, Mark, he's been brilliant since we
Paul,
signed him.
I've said it on here, I've said it to talking in private to people now. It's as if he's been playing for Celtic for years, Paul.
Yeah.
He's just slotted in, and see, it's a bit of a shame for him, kind of, because you're not noticing him because you're not watching him because he's no. I'm not saying making mistakes or anything, but do you know what I mean? It just seems to have been there forever, kind of thing. They just they're no. Oh, we'll see how Johnson does today because he wasn't too good last week and stuff like that, which you're usually like with new signings. It's just the guys come in and seamlessly.
Like Mark, what we're saying about Taylor, he seems to be the 6 or 7 or the 8 since
he came in. Do
you know what I mean? He
just that kind of pure consistency kind of thing
about him. Yeah, that's what.
And I'll tell you now, and this is no sure greps or Juranovic, because Juranovic was a great signing when he first came in, but he never really, for me, he never claimed that spot as his own, and he never really shone out much after he first came in. He came in with a bit of a bang, but just kind of petered out kind of thing. And for me, I think that Johnson will be a far, far better player for us than Juranovic would have been.
Oh, I think so too. I agree with you, Mark. He seems to be his end product as well, Mark. Because I was saying to you at the time, my biggest problem was about Ivanovic was his distribution when he got up front. Getting above Abada, getting above Yata, the thing that Radisson used to do for us. But Johnson is well capable of doing that.
I did notice today at one point in the game, but Paul, he was just like playing like he was out in the kind of left wing a bit, and I thought, what's he doing away out there? Know what I mean? A bit, but maybe that's just a wee bit kind of immaturity.
But did you see as well today, Mark? Did you see it there today? The action, one of the perfect examples of this inverted full back role that Ange calls it, is when McGregor and all the defence, all the midfield pushed up, he slotted into the midfield.
Aye.
I noticed that a few times today, now that he actually.
Well, that's what Greg Taylor used to do, isn't it? So maybe that's kind of doing that. I mean, sometimes Johnson's got to do it, sometimes Taylor's going to do it.
Yeah.
All right, Kaiser. Nice to meet you. Nice to join us, bud. Hail.
Look, Mark, I saw a great thing on Twitter there today that since Beale came in.
Who's Hacksaw?
Who?
That Kaiser's just put up there.
Probably Haksabanovic, I suppose, Mark.
Haksabanovic, right.
What's he
Hacksaw.
saying?
I don't.
The nail that sticks out is the first to get hammered. First GG, then Hacksaw, unless he bucks up his ideas, sticking his finger up in training videos. What's that about?
Well, I
Jake
don't.
Marcus, is this?
I was talking about Giamakis. So he's meant to have been turned into a bit of an arse behind the scenes, Paul. I've heard talking about that, but I don't know about that. About Haksavanovic putting his fingers up in videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That's what I was thinking. I'm
know,
terrible. What was it? Somebody came out on the forum one day. It was a nickname for Jota, and I never. It was like something like today with school books. We called school books Jotters, Paul. Jotters.
Yeah.
And it was something to do with that, and I didn't have a clue what they were on about. I'm like, what are you talking about? And that was something that hanging there. All these young ones, notebook. There, Bobby saying it, notebook. That was what it was. I didn't have a clue what they were on about, man. all these young ones with their hipster nicknames and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's a different culture now, Mark, isn't it?
Aye.
There was a tweet came out there today that like some Celtic father retweeted it, Mark, from one of the Rangers forums, and one Rangers father put up since Beale came in, Rangers have gone on this run and still have.
And just shook us, something like that.
Yeah, and just think, but we still haven't stopped the gap of 9 points at Celtic. You know what I mean? So they're cracking up that Celtic are still have this 9-point lead, and Mark, after their grateful runs since the draw in the derby. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
As you said, Mark, like, you know what I mean? I think is it now we need to win 9 games, I think, is this?
Is that what that's at?
Yeah.
I mean, I've no doubt in my mind that we'll win the games, Paul. You know what I mean? But that's the thing about it. They're going on about, Bill, this and that. But he's done nothing. He's not getting any closer to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time we meet them, that'll be hit 12 points clear. And that's when they'll start turning on him. And his mole will really start twitching.
Mm-hmm. Are we? What are we on? Are we 11 games unbeaten now? Is this since that derby? Isn't this?
Well, we'll never get beaten in the derby, did we?
No, we didn't. No, I'm on about winning straight games. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's 11 wins.
So 11. It'll be about that for it'll be 10 or 11. Paul,
I saw Saturday said like Marky, not just that, like, but what is it? I get locked down at one moment. There is our goal scored this season, Mark, is frightening. You know,
they said on Sky today, Paul, that Celtic's only. I maybe have picked this up, rang somebody in the live chat will know better, but I'm sure they said that this is Celtic's best fourth start to a season, or points total, or something like that.
In 30, yeah, this is our best. Is it 138 goals, Mark, or something like that in 38 games? So it was something like that, wasn't this?
Bobby saying 21 domestic games unbeaten. I bet it's something like, Paul, for like at this point in the season, this is like our fourth best points and goals and stuff like that for so.
You know, I saw that.
I don't really, Paul. See, be honest, see for Celtic in the near future to lose the league. I've said this for years, and I was proven right with it when we lost it ourselves with a point in Lennon. This league every single year, Paul, hopefully now to the day I die, will be Celtics to lose.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody. I mean, it'll be for them to win the league again. It'll be another complete freak of nature result.
We have 78 goals scored, Mark, in 25 games. So as you said, I think it was the best in goals. It was the best thing, that we had.
Nearly as good as me in FIFA.
Jesus, like that's for. I mean, we conceded 18, so we have a goal difference of plus 60.
Aye.
You know, I mean that's like. I mean, like
we could lose the next 2 derby games and still win the league.
Yeah,
just to rub it into them even more.
What I'm saying to you there, like, is we were saying there when I go like that. Celtic slip off for one half, but then you look at Celtic over the season, Mark, and goal scored is 78. Do you know what I mean? It's
But it should
phenomenal.
be
Like, you
more,
know what I mean?
Paul. It should still be
Sure,
more.
without doubt.
Aye.
You know, you go back to
This is, see, really,
October, November, Mark. Do you know what I mean?
aye, the way we were
Like,
playing and
do
stuff
you
like that.
like,
This team should be breaking records, Paul. That it should be coming to that kind of stage, I think. This Celtic team should be. I've seen Ange in an interview saying, "Oh, he doesn't kind of bother about stuff like that, about trying to break like records and stuff." But this team, we are under Ange, it could easily break records. It really could.
Is going back to, like, there's 3 questions here, right? Going back to since Martin Neal came over and all the managers we had, like we had Brendan Rodgers, Lennon, there was Tony Mowbray there and stuff like that. Like, is this the best Celtic team?
Ronnie. You never even mentioned Ronnie.
Ronnie died, yeah, but I said.
Well, how can
but is this the best Celtic
he's not
team
been
we
top
had?
of the list.
You know, and is Ange the best manager Celtic had?
It's different times, Paul. It's different times. It's hard to compare that. And when you look at the money Martin Neal had to spend and stuff like that, I'm not. Ange had a right good few quid as well, but Martin Neal. No, I mean, he had a hell of a lot of money to spend and it brought us a hell of a lot of success. Gordon Stratton, he tidied up the kind of financial mess that Martin Neal left and still won, still goes to the last 16 of the Champions League and stuff like that. So it's hard to. I'm not a great fan of doing that, Paul, because of kind of like comparing managers in different eras and stuff like that. No, I mean, it's like trying to. Well, we'll look at even like Brendan Rodgers and then. Like I can go back to, I can remember Billy McNeil managing Celtic, winning the double in the centenary year. I was that. Do you know what I mean? For me, that's up there was getting to the UEFA Cup final, and like memorable experiences. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard to compare managers as such. But I think one thing that we've actually got in Ange is somebody that's building foundations of the club, Paul. And probably. When it comes to that, I'd probably compare him to more like a Ronnie Dyler and going back even longer like your Tommy Burns. Do you know what I mean? I mean, even Martin O'Neill, he was nearly that interested in the youth system and stuff like that. It was more the first team that we put out there every week to win games, win trophies, blah, blah, blah. So you've got to look at things like that as well. But I think that Ange is maybe a bit of a mixture of both types, Paul. He's got stuff. He's got it out in the park. It's always about that Saturday game or Sunday game or whatever when we're playing. But I'm still going to make sure that everything's behind the scenes is tickety boo and going the way we want, running smoothly to produce brilliant players and stuff like that.
Mark, we just need to enjoy it while Ange is here at Celtic. I mean, not look forward to if he does go, but enjoy while we have it. Do you know what I mean? You know, enjoy the Celtic team. Now, on the other side, Mark, what you were saying there, Ange is building the foundations. I think, Mark, there's still a chance that he could, if he steps down as Celtic manager, there could be a chance, Mark, that he could come a sporting director. Like he seems to be building, as you said, Mark, he seems to be building something for the next step. Could that next step be him going up? Do you know?
Well, really it would be great. It would, Paul, I mean, every manager's got a shelf life. And it's that, I've said this 100 times. If Celtic, if fans decides to leave for some mass, and for me, I've said that.
Mark, if he would have wanted to leave, Mark, he would have left because we've seen Brendan Rodgers jump ship for Leicester City. If Ange would have left, Mark, he would have jumped ship for the likes of Everton and stuff like that. Do you know?
I would take for somebody who actually put out the feeler saying that he was interested in it, and it would be. But as I've said, Paul, what controls he got down there?
Nothing.
And I keep saying it. He's not a young man.
No. He won't be left go down there, Mark, and interfere with the youth academy.
No,
they've all their own coaches. You know what I mean?
Even the scouting department, Paul, he'll have nothing to do with the scouting department. He'll have a wee bit of input, but he'll be overruled if they decide something else. And I think that's a big part of it. I mean, right, fair dues, we're not the richest club in the world because of the TV deals and that, but the size of Celtic, you know he gets the club, you know he gets it. And is the grass any greener unless you're going to, I don't know, a really probably like a Barcelona or a Chelsea or somebody like absolutely life-changing kind of deal? I mean, what's the point of Ange spending all this time doing his work for Celtic, up and stick and down to Everton, and then come the summer he's out of job maybe? Because that's what I mean. That league is. I'm not putting Ange down by saying this, but that league has chewed up and spat out a hell of a lot better managers even than Ange, Paul, over the years, some of the top managers in the world. So if Celtic, when Ange decides that he doesn't want to manage Celtic or coach them or whatever, if Celtic don't ask the question about making him sporting director or director of football, that for me that would be a bit of a massive mistake, because it could. It's not a hands-on job, Paul. Maybe, do you know what I mean? He's right, I don't want to manage Celtic. Ange could stay in Australia and be the director of football for Celtic. Because most it's just communicating, phone calls, do you know what I mean, Paul?
With the technology that's there now as well, Mark.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Or if his family want to move back to Japan or anything, being a director of football doesn't mean that you need to be there every day of the week, kind of thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Look, as I said there before.
Somebody put in the forum he'll end up taking off for Pep at Man City. That's not going to happen. I'll say that now. I don't know who it was. Somebody put it on the forum, Paul. You could see him taking out at Man City when Pep goes. Now, I don't think I did answer. But there's no way that's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know why. Freaking Man City seem to be in a bit of bother at the moment as well, don't they? You know, did they get beaten again today? Did they?
I think they did. Aye.
By Spurs, didn't they?
Aye.
You know, so we're going to have that Hun jumping for joy again today. The Arsenal bollocks. You know,
they get beat, I know.
You know,
they get beat too.
Yeah, by Deutsch, Sean Deutsch, boy. You know, he'll keep everything up here. He'll keep everything up. Sean.
Everton, we've got an Everton editor, Paul, an old guy called Billy. Billy's bang on. You get that old Scouse type of humour and that. Do you know what I mean? He's a really funny guy. And he said yesterday morning, get this bet on or something like that. New manager bouncing, it was 65-1, and it came up for him.
Jesus, man.
He put it on the
I really do, Mark. I keep them up. I won't like Deutsch as a Celtic manager, but I like him. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
He's a character, like, you know what I mean? He's a character. Celtic are moving away from league football next week when St Mirren travel to Celtic for the Scottish Cup 5th round. It's always a tricky time, Mark, but any team now for Celtic is, I think, Mark, what I'm trying to say, like, any team coming up against Celtic, it's a task for any team to beat Celtic. That's what I'm trying to say.
Aye, St Mirren won't be fancying this at all.
You know, because the last few times, is it Robson's with Denmark, isn't it? Is he their manager? Is he Robson?
Robinson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Robinson, aye.
He seems to try and play football against Celtic, but the last time he kind of sat back a bit. Will he try to play football again? Or I think if he does that, he'll open up. I don't think Andrew will make a lot of changes into this game. You know?
I don't think second guess that again, isn't it? Doesn't he? We thought maybe we played like a lot of maybe fringe players in cup games, but he doesn't seem to fancy doing that either, didn't he? No?
Maybe Kobayashi Mark might come into that back line. I think maybe he might come in
for Carter Vickers.
No, maybe he might come in for Starfelt.
Oh, Kobayashi's never. Kobayashi won't replace Starfelt in that defence. They're totally different types of players.
But I'm saying, like, would he play him alongside Vickers? Have a natural left footer there? Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think if he was going to play Kobayashi, move Starfelt out to the right and play Kobayashi in the left.
Could be.
I don't think, for me, Kobayashi's more your Carter Vickers type of ball playing guy. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's more similar to Starfelt. He's more similar to Carter Vickers than he is to Starfelt. Look at his style of playing that.
So can you maybe see him rest Vickers and put Kobayashi in there? Because he has to rest. He has to, like.
Well, plus Vickers, he's missed a couple of games. Do you know what I mean? He's not that long back, so maybe it would be a good game for him to just like give him another kind of week off kind of thing.
Because you do, like, Mark, it's a tough schedule now for Celtic, like in up the last run. Like we're still in all three competitions. Like, you know what I mean? You can rest players, but you don't want to be resting too many, like the St Mirren game. Do you get me? When we lost, you know, resting one or two players. Like, is there any players who you think you'd rest to bring in someone at the moment?
Again, maybe fling Haksabanovic in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why not? Let's start off.
Exactly, yeah.
A cup game.
I felt
Celtic
lousy in
Park.
him today. Felt that he was clear on goal, and he could have broken the duck there today, Mark, to get his first goal, and Constantine took him down.
Aye.
You know, I really felt lousy because he would have scored. There was no way the defender on the right hand side was getting across to him there, Mark. Do you know?
Aye.
And he was clear on goal. He had a chance to get, like, I mean, that was just like 600 parents, I think, Mark. That was and he'd a horrible time today for St Johnstone. Never liked him.
He'd a complete nightmare, didn't he? And he getting away for it. Fair play to him.
600 parents.
I can't stick him either.
You know,
what about Awata? Would you throw him in?
I was actually thinking that, Mark. I was actually thinking that, Mark. I like to see him start in that role and rest McGregor. Because
Bobby put a team up there. Hart, Johnson, Starfelt, Kobayashi, Taylor, Awata, Kalmack, Moy, Abada, Haxa, and O. I would go with that, Bobby, aye.
That's a strong team, Mark. Like,
aye.
You know, Kalmack doesn't have to, like, you can bring like what Bobby is saying there. You can bring Awata in, Mark, and rest the likes of Hayase and O'Reilly, and bring Kalmack into that forward role. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. Playing him further up a bit.
Yeah, because these are the games, Mark, that, like, I mean, like, it's a cup game, Mark. Like, that team should be capable enough of beating St Mirren at home.
You'd like to think so, Paul. And again, look what happened. Do you know what I mean? Well, that was away right enough, but no, that team Bobby's put up here, that would beat St Mirren, no doubt about it.
It's just a pity Seagrass is still out, Mark. It really is. It's
he could start.
Yeah, he would have definitely started, Mark. You know what I mean? It's like we spoke at numerous of times, like, but Bate not getting in, looking like when Seagrass is injured in the cup games is basically Ange saying, I don't rate you.
Aye, I know.
You know what I mean? It really is, like, you know.
I heard that wee murmur that we could be getting a new goalkeeper in the summer.
I heard they're offering Hart a new contract extension.
Well, it's meant to be some new keeper maybe getting brought in this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's going. Is that maybe Seagrass and Bain's going about the door? I don't know if it's a new number one or such or that, Paul. Know what I mean?
Well, Mark, what we need to do is
somebody to take care for Hart next summer.
Yes. Do you know what I mean? You know, because I always said to you, Mark, my lad is too young. Do you know what I mean? This is
my
his
lad. Is that what we're calling him now?
Yeah, my lad. I didn't want to say Toby because the live chat will fucking mad again. But this is his next step, Mark. Is out for, like, this loan is only for 6 months.
It's only a summer.
But there's an extension then, Mark, to see how it's going after 6 months, that he could continue on then for the rest of the season with Cork City, you know?
Right, aye.
So, like, that's what it is, like, you know, but we should be signing, Mark, a keeper between 25 and 26 to train under Joe Hart with the potential coming number one. That's what I think Celtic should be looking at. You know?
I think we need, if we're going to try and train somebody up at that, Paul, I think you're going to be looking at somebody younger than that.
Think so?
Aye.
23, 22.
I mean, do you think about it? If you're 25, 26, are you going to come to Celtic to sit on the bench for a year and then be taking your for Joe Hart?
23. Maybe 22, 23.
Aye.
Number one, Denmark.
I mean, even look for the next Fraser Foster.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? The next big monster goalkeeper and just try and get him in.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or Paul. I don't know. I would just rather get down the route like the next Joe Hart, whoever the next top keeper is that's ready to retire kind of thing. Because if we get a keeper, as you're saying there, Paul, 22, 23, we train them, coach them in that, and then end up making a grade. They're away, Paul, for into 2 years, 3 years, and then they're getting sold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's a weird one for me.
Do you have confidence in Seagrass being number one?
No long term.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we always said he was good enough as a backup in an emergency situation or that, but I wouldn't fancy Seagrass like long term, Paul, going into Champions League and stuff like that. No, no for me.
Well, we could have a chance of by 37-year-old Emmanuel Neuer, going by reports there today, Mark, over in Germany, that he had a big huge spat on German television and papers of the sacking of the goalkeeping coach, his friend, goalkeeping coach from Bayern Munich, was sacked with immediate effect, with rumours that he was leaking information of starting lineups to the media before it came out.
The
And
goalkeeping coach was?
Yeah.
Oof.
And he's a good friend of Emmanuel Neuer. I mean, he's been training Neuer since Neuer was a kid. Like, he's been at Bayern Munich for that long. And Neuer came out there on the papers there over in Germany buying stuff like that, had a huge rant saying it's an absolute disgrace, and came out and criticised Oliver Kahn like you're the CEO, why are you getting involved in first team measures? You know what I mean? And stuff like that.
Aye.
And Oliver Kahn came back out and goes, I expected more from Neuer being club captain. You know, so that'd be interesting, boy, if with Neuer there and that thing, like, because he for me, Mark, was the first keeper who brought in this sweeper keeper role on the Pep at Bayern Munich.
Aye. He was a main man at it, wasn't he?
Yeah. 37 now, Mark. He is 37. Neuer. Never knew he was that old. 37.
He's been about for donkey's
years.
Yeah,
he has. Yeah. You know, he's actually out injured at the moment. Actually, he was.
He got
broke his leg in his
while ago.
After the World Cup. But do you remember the time then, Mark, when Johan Low wanted to drop him for Trapp? Remember the goalkeeper Trapp?
Aye.
And Bayern Munich said if Neuer's not the number one for Germany, they'll put all the Bayern Munich players out of the German national team. That just shows how much influence Bayern Munich have in German football.
Aye.
Like, Michael's the expert in that. Like,
that's what Celtic should be doing.
Yeah, exactly, Mark. Yeah,
that's what Celtic should be acting like.
You know, show that you're the top club, Mark, isn't this?
Aye, that's it. Act like the big club. You can't just say it. I mean, Peter Love used to come out and say, "Oh, we're a Champions League club." But he never acted like it. Aye,
I think that's like when we were speaking there about Ange, Mark, and stuff like that. Like, and I think that's the next step for Ange himself, is to make Celtic this team for Europe.
Aye,
do you know what I mean? He wants to progress, Mark. He wants to put it. There should be no reason for me, Mark, why Celtic shouldn't at least be getting to the semi-finals or quarter-finals of the Conference League or even Europa League. Not so much the Europa League, because I think the Europa League, for me, Mark, at the moment is like a second Champions League phase, because the amount of top teams now dropping down to that Europa League. Do you know what I mean?
No, even dropping down to it, but Paul, there's a lot of teams in that Europa League, even in the group stages, that
they're good teams.
They could have been in the Champions League.
You know, like, but there should be no reason, Mark, why we should be having a good run. If we did get into that Conference League, if we did drop down to that, like, Celtic should be well capable of winning that Conference League. You know what I mean? I know you're just saying this, it's only the Conference League, but it's a trophy in Europe.
I'd take it.
I'd be delighted, like, you know, I really would. You know, like, I think, Mark, there is an opportunity for teams like Celtic, Mark, to win something in Europe, and considering the way we play, Mark, we should be capable of doing that. You know, is that too much to ask, do you think, by me, or am I over realistic, Mark?
maybe a bit much to ask, like the new, but if fans can build something, who knows?
But that's what I'm saying, Mark, you know,
We should definitely be able to get into the latter stages of the kind of lower competitions.
yeah, you know what I mean. Not
I've
going
said
out, Mark, in
for me,
group stages, like, you know what I mean.
if you get see if Celtic's in the Champions League, obviously you need a wee bit of luck in the draw. But the minimum we should be looking at is dropping down to the Europa League. Aye,
Yeah.
that's the minimum we should be looking at. Don't get us wrong, there'll be years that we finish fourth and good. There'll be years that we finish second and get through to the next round in the Champions League. But if you're in the Champions League at the start of the season, that should be the minimum for a club besides the Celtic, in my opinion.
Definitely. The biggest mistake that game against St Mirren, I think, was mostly due to, well, I agree with you. I have to agree, Mark, that when Vickers and staff were out that time, and I actually had no confidence in two of them playing together. It was always, I think now what we can say, Mark, it seems to be Vickers or Stafford with someone. Do you get me? It has to be either Vickers or Stafford in that back line. You know, because
the two of them played in it that often, Paul, they know how to even organise it.
You know
what I mean? But even to the extent, Paul, you could probably throw wee Taylor into that kind of mix.
Definitely, Mark. Definitely. You know, for me,
I mean, Taylor would see like Taylor be the Japanese guy. I forgot his name now. I was going to say Awati. The Kobayashi.
Yeah.
With Taylor playing on that left-hand side with Kobayashi, Paul, that's going to help Kobayashi.
Exactly.
Having Taylor next, do you know what I mean? So I think Taylor's a big, well, we saw that at Ibrox, didn't we? Taylor was a big part of the team. Do you know what I mean? We missed when he could take off.
Do you know what as well, Mark? Probably Kyogo will get it because I think, is it 19 goals he has now so far this season? Probably he'll get Player of the Year, but for me, of just now, Mark, I think Taylor's been Celtic's Player of the Year so far. I really do.
He's been the most improved player, Paul. We gave it to Ralston last year, but you've got to give it to Taylor this year.
You know what I mean? He really has, Mark, and we actually saw how much of a loss he was in the team. Not just his defending, Mark, but his improvements going forward, Mark, is just unbelievable. When I criticised him this time last season, Mark, for not getting that extra runs that I was saying Ralston was doing, you know, and I was saying all our play used to go down Ralston's side and nothing used to go down the left-hand side last season. Now it seems to be like for like, you know.
Aye.
There's no kind of split between them, you know. It's or football can go down one side, or football can go down the other side.
It's a better balance in the team.
Balance in the team, Mark. Yeah, that's it. That's the word. You know, there's a balance in the team. You know, and I think that's down as well to Ange, Mark. You can have too many players at your disposal, but now Ange has got the players, Mark, that he wants and who he got in and got rid of the players he didn't want. He has got that balance in the team. You know?
Aye.
You know?
As we say, Paul, it's kind of players that is a like for like a lot of the times with substitutions and that, so it doesn't change again. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It doesn't change things up, it's just a bit like for like. But if he's willing to stick to his guns, he seems to have built a squad, Paul, that's capable of just doing what he wants them to do, no matter who the actual personnel on the park is.
Yeah, but Lamarck, if you listen to his, like when we used to get these last minute goals, I mean, they're exciting to get for fans, but they are heartbreaking. But Ange always says, like, he doesn't panic. He trusts the team. He trusts the way he plays. He knows they'll break him down. He knows he'll get that goal. And I mean, you just have to, like we're always saying, like we just have to trust Ange and trust those players, Mark. I mean, they're going. Anytime I see this team, Mark, they seem to be getting better and better. No matter who's starting or who's on the bench, the players themselves seem to be getting better as well. And there just seems to be a whole buzz around the club, Mark. There's no, like, the only player that I saw it pissed
Good
off.
night, Bob. Good night. Good night, Bobby,
Yeah.
mate. Good to see you back, bud. Hope you're keeping well.
I always thought he looked pissed off, Mark, when he was coming back. No, maybe what you were saying, Mark. Maybe he was. Obviously, he was. He was a bad influence in the dressing room, but I don't see that with the rest of the players, Mark. You know what I mean? They're happy for all the players to come on for them. They give them a high five.
But
You know, it's a
again,
team
Paul,
game.
but what happens when the next bid comes in that turns a player's head? Who's the next one? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't say Giacomakis was a bad influence in the dressing room. I just said that he had a few attitude problems.
I think he could have been, Mark. Why?
He might have been.
yeah.
He might have been.
You know what I mean? Like, one
Because
thing I hate about
Ange
players,
seems to have just kind of washed his hands of him.
Yeah,
But
by the
that kind of
interview the other
message
day,
or-
look, that's not
he's
my
no-
radar.
Aye,
That's not my
aye.
radar anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like players, Mark, that this new, what would you call them, social media players. Do you know what I mean? That put all
Aye,
their problems on the internet rather than going to Ange himself. Do you know what I mean? That
Aye.
seems to me. You know what I mean? And do you actually think now, Mark, maybe the way, as you said there, like Ange seemed to rush and things like Giacomakis is actually leaving Celtic in bad terms?
Maybe it's not the best of terms, Paul. Don't think it's bad terms as such, because we're just kind of going on gossiping, surmising and guessing myself. But I think maybe Ange personally feels maybe a wee bit let down. That he couldn't just maybe bide his time and see how things went and that. But to the same extent, Paul, if it is down to game time, I can see Gio's point. I really can. I've said that to you before. He should have. He warranted a good run in the team to see what he could actually do. Because I think he was. I've said it. I keep saying it, and I'll always say it. For me, he was a better out and out striker than Kyogo is.
Well, who's to say, Mark? Like what I said there last week in the podcast. Who's to say that O's not going to get pissed off at that?
Aye, exactly.
You know, like if he's going to be this player, Mark, who's going to be coming on the 65th minute every game. There's only so much a player's going to take it out, really, like, isn't it?
Aye, you're not going to become like a hero to the Celtic fans if you're just coming on for the last 30 minutes and that. And, we're 4-0 up and you're scoring one goal. Do you know what I mean?
That's why I think Mark Ange should actually, what Bobby said there in his starting, like, that's why Ange should kind of start these players at these. I mean, like, there's enough quality there in Bobby's team for Celtic to beat St Mirren.
Oh, aye, and we need disrespect to St Mirren. We're playing a kind of smaller club, right? We should put any team out that's going to beat them. So why not give players like a start and give him the hour instead of the 30 minutes or 20 minutes at the end. Give him the hour or 70 minutes to see what he can do.
Definitely.
And I know he's just arrived in the country and maybe his fitness isn't the best, but start him rather than bringing him on. Start him and tire him out rather than bringing him on. Do you know what I mean? If he comes on and scores a goal and goes off at half time knackered, that's him. He's done his job that day.
Celtic's last 8 games before the split is Aberdeen at home, St Mirren away, Hearts home, Hibs away, Hibs at home, Ross County away. We have Rangers at home, Kilmarnock away, and Motherwell at home. We have 5 games at home, and Celtic haven't lost a home game since losing to Hibs, Mark, over 2 years ago. We haven't lost a home game in 2 years. You know, we're averaging 3 goals per game.
Maximum points for all the games, Pablo.
Yeah, but if we win those games, Mark, the league could be over before the split. Do you know what I mean? Has that happened before? Before the split?
I think it has. Aye.
You know.
It must have done, Paul, like your invincible seasons and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the Invincibles, Mark, I think could have been like, well, that'd be extraordinary, Mark. Like the league over before the split, and supposedly we're lucky. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. I feel lucky, Paul. I wake up every day feeling lucky that I'm a Tim.
You know, Jesus Christ, man! Like the comments he comes out with, Mark, are just
Who?
Beale. That's Celtic were a lucky team.
Aye.
You know,
He's an idiot.
He really is, Mark, isn't he?
I'd be embarrassed if he'd somebody like him as Celtic manager.
Even Chris Boyd was laughing at it today, actually, in Sky Sports when we was winning, and he said, "Well, as the saying goes, I'm just lucky. Celtic were lucky today. And he started like, do you know what, Mark? I know he's a pain in the hole and the way he talks about them, but I say even he's admiring this Celtic team, Chris Boyd. Like, he's probably looking at me like, how can you not?
Grudgingly,
Yeah.
grudgingly admiring them.
Yeah,
I think anybody that knows anything about football, Paul, even Rangers fans would grudgingly respect the kind of football that I'm just trying to get them to play. Rebel 186, Rebel 86, is it? Nice to meet you, mate. Thanks for coming in, bud. That's a new name, Paul.
No, he was here last week as well.
Oh, right. I'm terrible with names, honestly. Everybody, Paul will tell you that I don't get any memory for names, but don't mean I'm ignorant with anybody coming in.
It's like, so maybe what I'd like to see would be Kobayashi, Iwata, and O. They're the three players that I'd like to see, Mark, starting next week.
Haksabanovic.
For maybe Yata. Oh, we saw Haksabanovic kind of play the number 10 recently, Mark, didn't we? In kind of O'Reilly's role and Hayata's role.
I always thought it was weird that he picked the number 9.
Yeah, because he's kind of
he's a kind of mere winger number 10 type. You know, that kind of free kind of role I keep going on about. I'd like to see him in there, Paul.
It's like we haven't really, Mark, seen. Like, he's another player, Mark, who we actually can't make a judgment on because we actually don't know his best position.
Aye.
We've only.
What I like, Paul, was
cameos.
What I did like right away was, Paul, I'm sure it was even in his debut, the ball went out for a throw-in.
Yeah.
And the opposition player did a kind of wee niggle at him, and Haksabanovic was right up into his face and that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Somebody's got a bit of a dig about them. Again, is that wee bit but I keep saying physicality in the team. Although we can see some amount of fouls, do you know what I mean? They're still lightweight.
He'd be one of the best players, man, for a derby to bring in that.
Give me a mark that Ryan cunt.
Yeah, deck him like he'd be. But I don't know. I say he could get sent off the derby, don't Mark Haksabanovic.
It'd be worth it, wouldn't
it? I actually can't remember the last time, Mark. Really, I saw a Celtic player sent off. Was it Callum Mack?
No, it would be. Aye.
That was last season, wasn't it? And that was over Callum Mack trying to tackle, wasn't it?
I can't even remember now.
It was over a stupid tackle in the box, just outside the box.
This season?
This season, yeah.
And then he came back for the Aberdeen game.
Yes. No, that was the injury.
Oh, was that the injury?
Yeah, that was the injury. Like... We're not known.
No, but we're not a dirty team, Paul.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we play fast feed football, but the way the stats show, Mark, we're a dirty team. And we have 79% of possession. Do you know what I mean? Like, the stats don't. As you say, it's like they're there because the referees, but we spoke about that. Like, but I actually don't remember a Celtic, but even players getting booked, Mark, we don't really see Celtic players get booked really, like, you know what I mean, because we've so much the ball. I thought Yarsa's booking today was silly. It was a silly booking, like, you know what I mean. He gave persistent fouling, but those fouls he gave for Mark were just ridiculous.
Aye, and that's the thing about it, Paul. You've got to look at what are the fouls, or is it just like silly tussles, tugs, pulls, whatever? It's just it's stupidness. It's any wee niggly thing that they can get a free kick for and stop the game from flowing. That's what they seem to be doing.
Nick Welch is actually the worst for it. He's the worst for it, I think, for blowing up at Celtic. He seemed. Who was that? I never
Him
ref
today?
today, Mark
I don't know
Dickinson,
who
was
it
it?
was. Was that who that Dickinson was?
Yeah, I think it was Dickinson, yeah.
You can just see him with a sash on walking down the street in the 12th, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, we
It
can...
closed it. It zoomed in on him on the telly, and I said to Grot Bags, I was like, I don't even know who that ref is, but look at him, just pure staunch. The staunchness was staring at him.
Mm-hmm. It was, wasn't this?
Aye,
And who
just
was
to
on
that.
VAR today, actually?
Oof.
Anderson, I think, was it? Who's the fella that gave the free kicks for Hearts, Mark? Who's that fella? Owen Anderson, was it?
Fucking hell, Paul, man, just throwing these mad random referees' names at me.
I think, remember the referee that gave the free kick against Hearts? Is his name Owen something? Is this Anderson or something like that? Is this?
Ewan Anderson.
Yeah. Is that him? Was he in VAR today, I think?
That might have been, Paul. That is actually a real guy.
Yeah,
Aye,
he is.
might
Yeah, he's a
be.
referee. Yeah, he's a Scottish referee. I mean, like,
Jeez.
Mark, isn't it stupid like that I actually know the referees in Scotland because of all the controversial stuff going on? I mean, you shouldn't know the referees really, but we do
No.
because of all the... I could only name a small few down in the Premier League, Mark, because they don't beat. The only one I know in the Premier League really was Mike Dean, because Mike Dean loved the attention. Do you know?
Is he still going?
No, he retired. No,
Aye.
he actually stepped up to kind of look after the VAR now down in...
That'll be dodgy then if he's involved
Exactly.
in that. Aye.
Sure, himself and Mason got banned that time. Remember, over controversial decision down in South, and they got taken off the next couple of games. Turnbull saw well, yeah, Mark. Actually, remember that? Turnbull,
Right,
yeah,
so
a
he
couple of
did.
weeks back, yeah.
Right, so he did, aye.
Mm-hmm.
Your man Turnbull with another goal, Pablo.
Do you know what, Mark? Do you know what? I thought that was a very, very clever free kick today. Really was. There was Haksabanovic lined it up, Mark, the thing, and O'Reilly passed it back when the Raw was still kind of organising, waiting for the shot to come in for Hack. That was a clever free kick, wasn't it? You know?
Aye.
That's what I like about Celtic, Mark. You know what I mean? The cleverness. Like, do you know what
That's something we missed for years, Paul, but everyone was just we'll just take a crazy pot shot.
Yeah. Do you know, like, even like that, Mark, though, even sometimes there you see us with the corners, and we scored a few goals from it when they'd pass it out to Calamack and he'd take the shot. Do you know the cleverness of this team? But I think that's all down to Gavin Strachan.
I think so as
He's been
well.
working on that stuff, wasn't it? You know?
There was something, there was an article wrote about that a few months ago, wasn't it? It was him,
Strachan.
It was him and I've said that to you all along, Paul. I always think, see set pieces, I think you should let the players work on that themselves.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I read that article was that Gavin Strachan was working with the players, so the players are having an input on how, which is what they want to. Do you know what I mean? See if you pass the ball to me, that I could hit the target for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Players that they're self-saying here, I could ping that in that corner if you can get round the back there, if you can do this and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For that, set pieces for me should always come down to like the players themselves getting together and trying to work out the best ways to do things and what they can do themselves. You know what I mean? Any point of the ball falling to Starfield in the 18-yard line at a free kick or a corner. Do you know what I mean?
And do you know what else was good today as well, Mark? And I forgot to mention this was Joe Hart coming out claiming the ball, and any time he came out to claim the ball, he caught it. So he's able to do it. He just doesn't do it enough.
Aye, doesn't he? Didn't he? No.
You know, because Hart's a blocky lad, Mark. Do you know, when you're going to find any opposition player, Mark, would find it very hard, I think, to knock Joe Hart off the ball going out to catch it, because he
But see, as I've said, Paul, but seeing this modern game, see even if Joe Hart goes out to collect the ball and misses it, see if he just screams
exactly.
9 times out of 10, the ref's going to blow for a free kick, think that the goalkeeper's going to get the goalkeeper be filled. We see it in every game. Do you know what I mean? So I think he should maybe, but at his age, he shouldn't need an idiot like me to sit on here and say that. He should be cute enough to know that himself.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
but his experience and stuff like that.
You know, but he did know, though, in fairness to know, Mark, he did it today, and I think he did it very comfortably because
Aye.
Stevie May's a big lad.
Aye.
You know, I noticed you said today actually the live chat about him when he was at Aki's. You
Aye, he was on
thought
loan at
Celtic might
Accies for a while.
take a punt at him.
Aye.
Back in the day.
Aye, Paul. It's about maybe 10 years ago now. Do you know what I mean? He was only like a young boy, but he was a big lumpy a boy and could put himself about and was scoring goals. And I just thought at the time, see, I don't know, it would have been buttons to Celtic at the time, just take a punt on him and see how it went. And I was surprised. I was actually surprised how many people actually agreed with me, to be honest, Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know
I wasn't meaning go and bust the bank, making our number one striker kind of thing. But I just thought it was worth a kind of gamble. I mean, when I went and looked up, we signed Stefan Sepovic. Who would you rather have been signed?
Jesus Christ, Mark.
Do you know what I mean?
You
Looking
could
back,
put Sekovic down as one of the worst signings ever for Celtic, couldn't you?
Was it no? I think did we not sign that Amida Baldi the same year as well, kind of and stuff like that. So why not take a punt on somebody like Stevie May when he was younger?
You know, was it Sheffield Wednesday? I think they said Mark he went and he kind of
went to Sheffield Wednesday.
Well,
he went to Sheffield Wednesday, and I think he done no bad. Then I'm sure he went for £1 million at one point, Paul. I think he left Sheffield Wednesday for somebody for £1 million. And then that's when his injuries and that kicked in. And I think then he came back up to Aberdeen, wasn't it, at the time?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get us, I'm not saying Celtic should go out and sign Stevie May in the summer. It was just back in the day, 10, 11 years ago or that. I don't see why they didn't take a punt on him.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what as well, Mark? You have to give, just before we go, is you have to give credit.
Texting your dinner's ready.
Yeah. You have to give...
hurry up!
You have to give St Johnstone credit for sticking by... Is it Callum Davison, I think? Is
Aye.
For sticking by him, Mark, because they nearly went down last season, like, you know what I mean? And any other team, Mark, would have panicked and they would have sacked him and brought in somebody, but they stuck with him, Mark. Do you know what I mean? And fair dues to him for doing that. It's not always the safest option, Mark, is it? Sacking your manager, hoping that a new manager comes in and does it.
That's why Aberdeen and Dundee United and Hearts and Hibs can't actually decide who the third biggest club in Scotland is.
Yeah.
Because they'll just sack people, no give anybody any time. I mean, Callum Davison won a double for them. He won the two cups.
Yeah, he did. I think, Mark, that's true what you said there about Aberdeen and Hibs. At least Hearts are starting to give what's that fucking fool's name that's with them? That
Robbie Nielsen.
Yeah, that the referees always against them in Celtic matches. You know, but at least they're stick. But Hearts and Aberdeen, I think, Mark, as a club, their chairmen don't know where they are as a club. You know, they remind me of Everton down the Premier League, that they don't know where they're going. That in-house is so much of a mess that they're just trying to get a manager to fix it. You know?
They keep looking for short-term fixes, Paul, and they don't work. Do you know what I mean? You need to build if you're at these kind of clubs, you're no guaranteed to win trophies and stuff like that, Paul. You've got to build the club up for the bottom and give guys kind of time to. I mean, here one. Do you think Ange would have took the Aberdeen job
if they approached him over in Japan?
Aye.
I don't know, man. Do you mean it was always his like?
Do you get me? A club, aye, but I mean, just a club like that. If they'd approached Ange and spoke to him, and Ange says, "Here, give me 2 years, and I'll let me do what I do. I'll sort of youth scouting, blah blah blah."
Mm-hmm.
But they've gave him time.
I would think they would have, Mark, yeah.
But even at that, Jen Ange would have been interested in it.
I really don't know.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Because he always said, Mark, he wanted to manage in Europe, and he said he wanted to manage a big club. Like, but Mark, who are we to know that Ange hasn't been approached by teams in Europe before Celtic? You know what I mean? We don't know, but he was probably like we could
Maybe
say,
waiting for the right,
yeah, the white club,
the
you know
right
what I mean?
project, the right,
Like he
what they call it a project, into the right
yes,
project kind
yeah,
of thing.
for him, like, and he saw Celtic as, like, let's not kid ourselves, Mark. Like, Celtic has a big fan base in Australia, so Ange is no fool to Celtic. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, aye,
You
aye.
know, and
He knew what he was getting into.
exactly, yeah, and he knew what he was getting into, and he knew that he'd have control. I really do think, Mark, we're very, and I have to use Beale's word here, lucky
Lucky, aye, to have
that
that.
Laurel isn't the chairman. I think we're very lucky.
No, well, there's the chairman. We're lucky that he's not the
Yeah,
CEO.
CEO, sorry, yeah, CEO.
Aye.
We're
Well,
very lucky.
we're very lucky to have Ange, Paul, but see, I
Yeah,
said it on the forum as well, but Ange is very lucky of us.
Nicholson, yeah, I'm having Nicholson there, Mark, as well, yeah, definitely.
The way we've gave him, well, he seems happy enough. We seem to have given him everything that he's wanted in the transfer market and stuff like that. So I think we're very lucky to have Ange, but I think he's very lucky to have us as well to
Yeah,
the same
it seems
extent.
that,
And I think
yeah,
that's
that's it.
I think that's kind of
It kind of works. It's kind of working both ways, Mark.
Aye.
This that he's lucky to have a club like Celtic, letting him do what he wants to do, and just the same. Then like, let the board, like you have to give like credit not just to Ange, like, but to the way Nicholson has run the club as well, Mark.
Aye.
He's letting football, something that you always said, Mark, needs to be done at Celtic. Football people doing football decisions. We brought in
Aye.
Brian, was it Mark Lowell, isn't it? His son,
Aye.
isn't it? We brought him in, Mark. He's looking after the scouting. We're getting the proper people into these proper roles outside the first team, which is the way it should have been done, but alter ego, Laurel didn't let it.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
That was it. No getting back at it again, but Lowell held his back so badly for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've said to you as well, Paul, you don't want to be picking up the paper and Celtic CEO Michael Nicholson came out with this today. Celtic CEO Michael Nicholson came out with that. You don't want to be reading about what your CEO's saying or what he's doing, and that's what it was with Lowell. We're talking about referees always want to be centre of attention. Peter Lowell was just the exact same as that, Paul. Everything was just about Peter Lowell.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. We let it there, lads. Fortunately, Terence didn't enjoy us, so maybe the young fella wasn't well the last couple of days. So hopefully, he should be all. He's all right, Mark, isn't he? The young fella.
I think he's all right now,
Yeah.
Paul. I think he's fine now.
He gets him settled there already on a Sunday night. So Terence will hopefully join us again next weekend. Oh, not Terence, lads. If any of you in the live chat wish to join us, I mean, Foxy Boy was on last week with us. We had a great chat with Foxy Boy. Just let us know in the live chat, and Mark will put up the link. Thanks to you all, lads, as always, for joining us. And Mark will close the show.
Right, no bother, Paul. Thanks very much again, bud. Everybody that joins the live chat, you, well, no new guys, but guys that float in and out like Rebel, we Celtic Forever. Mind you, go and subscribe to his channel. Everybody that listens back and watches back, thanks very much for all the support. The links to everything's in the description box below. Our forum, you're all more than welcome, the Discord, etc. So that's everything. Hail, good night, and God bless.